Alright, y'all. I'm going to sleep in my tent for the night. It's way out in the middle of the woods. As you can see, it's pitch black. We got like a foot of snow today. And I took my tent down, so it's probably buried under a good foot of snow. But, we're gonna do it. It's gonna be pretty dark in this video. But I'll just keep talking. So you can see my silhouette. Yeah, so we just got the last big snowstorm that we're probably gonna have in Minnesota for the year, most likely. And well, I pitched my tent in this spot the other night. This is a small rural town. There's a lot of woods all along the outskirts of it. I pitched my tent out there the other night because I was just hearing the call of the wild. Had to get out in the fresh air, and there's nothing like waking up in the middle of basically woods. And you can see the highway from where I'm pitched, but it's like a decent way off. And I startled 2 deer on my way out to my spot. When I was first looking for a spot, I startled a couple deer, but this can be kind of hardcore because this is a cheap $30 Walmart tent, and the temperature right now is, I believe, it's below freezing, something below freezing, because my water ices over every morning. It's floating with ice chunks when I wake up, and it's not like that when I go out there, but it's like that when I wake up. So normally you can't sleep in that kind of weather. If you try to stay out in that kind of weather too long, you'd die. But if you have enough blankets, you can make it. And this is how the animals do it. You know, this is how Mother Nature intended for animals to survive out there in the cold, scary, dark wilderness. You just need enough blankets. So my tent is a really cheap tent. There's actually, it doesn't even zip up. The flap does not zip up. The door doesn't zip anymore because the zipper got so old that it fucked off. And what I do is this old homeless trick that I learned while I was homeless and my zipper stopped working one night, is you just poke a bunch of holes around the tent flap, around the door, and then you grab something. I like to use toothbrushes because they're rubber and they hold the material better. But you grab something and you kind of stick it through one hole in the door and then another hole in the top of the tent, and you kind of twist it around and set it so you hope that it holds. And it does work. It works as a makeshift. It's kind of like using a safety pin, basically, to jerry-rig it together. And there's a few holes in it and stuff, but yeah, so the concept of sleeping outside in the winter in the cold while you don't really have anything is something like this. The inside of your body is a heater. It's 98 degrees, I believe, on the inside of your body. And if you get enough blankets around you and you lock that airspace completely sealed off around you, then if you wait long enough underneath those blankets, it's going to get up to something right around very sleepable temperature. It's going to get up to around 70, 80 something degrees. From 60 to 70. It's going to get up there. And it's very sleepable. You actually get a little bit too hot sometimes if you just bury yourself under there completely. you can actually get a little bit too hot. But I have a lot of blankets. I'll try to show when I get out there. But I have a lot of blankets, and it's all about those layers. Now I have sheets that I borrowed from some of my nieces as well. I got those Little Mermaid sheets, Disney Princess sheets, Aladdin sheets, and they're paper thin, but it doesn't matter because you're not using them for direct warmth. You're using them as another layer in between the heavy blankets. I got 2 heavy blankets and 5 or 6 like medium type blankets, and then I layered a bunch of these sheets in as well, and they just work as another layer to help trap that heat so it doesn't escape. Each layer you add is like compound interest. It's like a multiplying factor for the heat trapping effect. So using this principle, you can sleep outside pretty much anywhere in any weather, the coldest weather, as long as you have enough blankets and enough layers, because like I said, inside of your body is a 98-degree heater, and that's what keeps you alive. All you have to do is find a way to sustain that heater inside of you, and you can do it by using layers. So as you can see, we're starting to get a bit away from town here, but there's still some lights up here along the road. We're actually walking along a cemetery right now. You can't see that, but there's a cemetery off to my right, and then there's this highway out here, and then there's a bridge, and I tucked off to the side of the bridge, and my camp is set up along a river, way up on the riverbank. It's not down near by the river, but it is on private property, so don't be snitching. But people out here don't really care. It's so sparsely populated. That's the thing, is for nomadic style camping and living, you want an area that's completely sparsely populated, because you don't want an area where people are already on the lookout for tents and where all the benches have spikes on them and shit, and the homeless are a common sight. You don't want to be in an area like that, because it's a lot less secure. People are always on the lookout for homeless, and really, in my experience, the main thing you need to worry about as a homeless person is not other homeless people messing with you. It's regular civilians calling the cops on you is the number one thing that's going to be your number one problem while you're trying to stealth camp. This is going to be a stealth camping video. I'm trying to get out there quick because I've only got about 10 more minutes left on my video. But this is going to be my first stealth camping video. I've been wanting to start this series for a while. And I just want one of these up. I just want to have one of these up for posterity's sake or whatever. So it snowed quite a bit today. This is probably the last big snowstorm we're gonna get. It's March. That's right. It's about the 3rd week of March right now in Minnesota. And last week it was pretty sunny and there wasn't much snow on the ground, but there's a lot of snow now. Probably have to flip that flashlight on pretty soon. We're coming up on the wheel. Ooh. Okay, we got some snowmobile tracks. Somebody was down here with their snowmobile today, apparently. Somebody came through here with their snowmobile. I would assume it's the owner of the property, but there's no way he was over by my tent. And there's no way he saw my tent at all, because I took my tent poles down so it's just laying flat on the ground. It's got to be buried under a solid foot of snow right now as we speak. We're getting off to the side now. see that's the road, and we're coming off to this side down here into the black abyss. Well, it's not too black, I can see my way around. Yeah, the snow is pretty deep. Decently deep, nothing crazy. This video could have been a lot crazier, but I didn't really plan this out. I actually just happened to be doing this and decided I might as well take a video of myself while I'm doing it. Yeah, there's nothing like waking up in the great outdoors. Feels like heaven, man. Feels like heaven. Oh, we're making our way through these weeds. I don't know what kind of plants these are. Just like regular yellow plants, dead plants. Not sure what kind they would be. All right, we're making our way up over here, deeper and deeper into the woods. I'm not really worried about bears because there's not too many bears around this type of area. One time my little brother seen a bear, he said, in our yard. And that was the only experience that I can see a lot better without my sunglasses on. I do have a knife on me. I got a couple different knives. And what I do is I just take I got a big fucking long David Bowie knife. Just a Bowie knife, not a David Bowie knife. I got a big long knife, and then I got another switchblade, and I just keep them next to me within hands reaching distance, in case anything happens to come up on me in my tent while I'm sleeping. Hopefully I'd have a fighting chance to stab it off. I'm not too worried about that though. Like I said, I saw a couple deer the other day, and that's about it. A lot of birds. Wake up with the birds. So we're coming up on my tent area right now. It wasn't too far of a walk away from the highway, as you can see. You can see the highway lights right there. And it's still a little further ways up here. It's definitely gonna be buried under some snow, but the way I set it, there was plastic over everything, so I don't think anything should have got wet. All of my blankets are laid out in there right now. I don't think anything should have got wet, the way it's all laid out. Oh, we come up on the tent area right now. As I suspected, it's completely completely covered. Now, what we're gonna do is clear the snow away, get up in here, and then I'll give you guys a little first-hand look of my blanket situation, blanket setup. And I'll do that in the next video, and then I'm gonna splice these two videos together. Stay tuned. Well, I got her up. As you can see, I got all my blankets in here. There's a lot of blankets under there. I'll start unfolding, going through those layers to show you more, but all this stuff was laying here on the ground in the middle of these woods. The river is down there, and the rest, everything around is just woods. There's a big pine tree right there. And this is the middle of the woods. Everything was laying here, right here in this spot, getting snowed on all day long. There's about a foot of snow covering this when I got out here. And I just got to work brushing it all off. It was laying flat because I popped it down, popped the poles out. It was just laying flat, and this green thing was over the top. This is a mesh screen right here, so stuff can go right through here. Water and stuff can get right through there, but had that green thing right over the top, and it worked like a charm. You know, I folded the door in put it over the blankets, and the only thing really that got wet right here is this little corner. This little corner of those blankets, and that's not gonna be a problem. It's all sweet, dry, comfy, warm blankets. I got three pillows back there. This is a sweet little setup for sleeping. Truly. Just got a little bit of snow right there. I'm gonna get that green flap on, put it on. These are the holes you can see where my zipper doesn't work, so I cut a bunch of holes in this flap right here, and then I take this door and I put it up, and I'll grab like a stick or a long plastic toy. One of my nieces and nephews have like plastic wrenches and stuff. Grab one of those, or I'll grab a toothbrush and I'll stick it. I got there's holes in this door too, and I stick it through the door and through here, and then this hole's getting a little bit big for comfort, but I need to get some safety pins. But yeah, I stick them through both the holes, and I kind of just twist it around so it kind of just holds it just in place. It can get knocked out pretty easy if I accidentally bump into it, but it works for holding it up. And really, as long as there's not too much rain or snow coming down, or it's not really windy, I don't even need the flap closed. But yeah, I'm gonna get this set up, and then I'm gonna show it around inside in the next video. Alrighty, well, we're in. Got in the tent. When I first got in, I was a little bit scared because I started feeling this bedding down here. This is what I have to lay on. I have a bunch of layers right here to lay on. You do want some insulation between you and the ground because you do lose some heat that way. I don't use as much on the bottom as I do on the top because heat rises, and you want most of your blankets above you so you can trap all that heat in with all those layers. But you definitely do want a good amount of layers between you and the ground as well, because it gets pretty cold and it sucks away some of your heat. Ideally, I would have a few more blankets down on the bottom because it's a little bit cold for my taste, but it's still very sleepable. I slept in here last night, and got this garbage bag here. It helps to have like a plastic layer as well. It's kind of like this the idea behind a space blanket is like these plastic is really good at trapping air, trapping heat. Got my pillows right here. Got a tiny bit wet right there, nothing too bad. I feel like Steve Wallace right now making this video. I got my trusty backpack over here. Got all my stuff in it, dry clothes and everything in case my socks got a little bit wet on the way out here. Probably change into those. But we just got a little bit of snow over there on some of these top layer blankets. Got my glove right here. Trusty word glove. And this is a door right here. What I do is take that, put it right up there, and I'll stick some in there in these holes and keep it up there. And if I'm feeling frisky, I'll do all 5 holes at the same time, but usually last night I just did 1. Sometimes two is good as well. You can see we got this nice view right here. You can see that snow coming down pretty heavy. I'm hoping that you can see that car go past. That's how far away the highway is. Well, let me grab a bite to eat real quick. Fresh, clean snow. Now, this is a great view, and I'm hoping that we don't get so much snow overnight that my tent collapses on me. I don't think that should be a problem, but you never know. Now, let's have a look at these layers, shall we? As I told you, we got the handy dandy girly unicorn sheets right here. Can't leave home without them. So I don't know what kind of blankets these are. They appear to be some kind of material that's been cut into pieces, but they're like these small rectangles. They're only that far across, these rectangle blankets, but they definitely work as good extra layers. Now, so this is the first layer. We have that square gray blanket type of thing. Underneath that, we have this fuzzy, I forget what this is, what material this is called, but it's like a thick, I forget the word for it, but you can obviously see what kind of blanket it is. It's one of those fuzzy, warm, kind of thick blankets. Courtesy of my mom. Thanks, Mom. That's a big cat. Got a big kitty cat. Got cats and unicorns to keep me safe. Now, that's just the second layer. Underneath that is a whole cornucopia of warmth and protection from old man winter. So this right here is the first of my heavy blankets. This is my biggest blanket, and I got this one fully open. It's not folded in half for extra warmth and double layers. I like to keep this one completely open because it's the widest. It's like a complete king size blanket, and I use that to make sure I can get it all the way around me on both sides to create a full heat shell. And then I just make sure most of the rest of the blankets are completely over the top of me. But I do use this one to tuck it in around the sides, because you need that heat shell. If you have warmth escaping out the sides, that's not really going to be good enough. You're going to be getting that cold draft on your sides, and it's probably going to be hard to sleep. So underneath that, I've got this heated blanket. I cut the wires on this because the box inside of it was bulky and I kept laying on it. So this is just a regular blanket, basically. It was a heated blanket. No longer functional, but it'll serve its purpose for me tonight, that's for sure. Now, underneath that, actually these layers got a little bit jumbled up, so I'm going to have to rearrange some of these in a moment here. But we have two sheets, two pink sheets, and then we have, this is the same type of blanket as I first showed on the top. We have 1, 2 of these that are even more layers, extra thick, heavy duty layers, and this is the stuff that's really like reinforcing the heat shell. Really getting a good heat shell with that right there. These two thick, they're really stiff. They almost look like material that you'd find in the back of like a car if you're cutting up like to put an amp in or something. It's really stiff, almost not even fit for normal sleepwear, but certainly will do the trick for what I'm using it for. We got 3 of these right here, as you can see. 1, 2, 3 of those. Bam. And that's the whole entire heat shell. That's the whole entire heat shell on the top. And so what we got on the bottom here is we got another got those Disney princesses on the bottom, and then we have a thin gray fleece blanket on top of that. And we have some more Disney princesses, Aladdin and company, or Mermaid and company. And then I took all my sweatshirts and some of my pants that were in my backpack, and I laid them down on there, mostly for comfort, but they also definitely work as a heat shell. And then this is a laundry bag, but I just put it there because why not? It's just more extra material. And I had a garbage bag that I brought everything out here in. put that down, and then this is another gray. It's like a thicker fleece blanket. It's not the thin kind like this right here. This is the trusty. This is every homeless man's best friend right here. It's like $8 at Walmart, and a few of these will do you mighty good. So got my shoes over there. That's the entire setup we got going here. And this is gonna be my first stealth camping video, obviously. And that's about it. Tommy Gun signing off. Oh yeah, one more thing I forgot to show you guys. My knife collection. Bear protection. So actually I got my switchblade right here, courtesy of my dad. Thanks, Dad. Nice little switchblade, sharp switchblade. This is for RJack. It says RJack. And we got this nice VA backpack right here from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs End User Operations. I don't know what that means, but it sounds official. This thing's got a lot of pockets. This is a Targus, I guess. And so we got that switchblade. I keep that on one side. And I keep this Bowie knife. I don't know if it's actually a Bowie knife, but it's pretty big. Big black knife. You can see right there. Pull that bad boy out. Nice big knife. And hopefully, if I get woken up by a bear, I'm gonna just reach for whatever side I'm closest to, and hopefully my hand closes around this one right here, because I feel like it's probably better for protection. And this is an illegal stealth camp, technically a legal stealth camp because I'm on private property. So I'm hoping that if I get waken up, it's not a cop, because I'm grabbing for that knife, I'm slashing. If anything touches me, that's survival protocol. I'm out here in the wild, it could be an animal. I'm grabbing, I'm slashing, and I'm hoping for the best. So hopefully it's not a cop. Hopefully it's not a property owner, an old countryman on the prowl surveying his lands. And yeah, that's nighttime protection. Alright, one more video for you guys here. We got the full setup now. As you can see, got the makeshift hobo rigged. They call that a hobo rig where I'm from. And there's a hole right there, and the snow is coming down pretty freaking hard right now, as you can see. And that is steady, not letting up. That's going to be going all night. That's coming in right there, coming in on my backpack, but it shouldn't be nothing to worry about, really. I'll probably pack up and get out of here in the morning anyways, and it's nothing that's going to hinder my sleep. Nothing really is going to happen to my backpack. Make it a little wet on the outside. Pretty heavy duty backpack though, so it should be alright. And we got that gap right there as well. I took my socks off, so I'm barefooted under here. I made sure to get some blankets down there to wrap around my feetsies. Get a nice shell going there so we don't get soaked or whatever. Whoa. I think something might have just got killed out there. I'm not totally sure. Something definitely screamed. Or it was a loud metallic sound. I don't know. But anyways. Anywho. What was I saying? Oh yeah, my feetsies. They're gonna stay nice and warm. And that's gonna get a lot of snow down there. But I'll probably just pack up in the morning. So nothing to worry about. Now I want to give one last. We got my water right here. That's gonna have some nice ice chunks in there by the time I wake up in the morning. I got my knife situated right here. My other knife situated over here. Take my jacket off because it's a little bit restrictive, and I like to roll around a few times in my sleep. But let's take a look at this massive mountain of blankets, because this is a freaking behemoth of blankets, and this is how to make your Eskimo ancestors proud. And this is how to do it like a bear, do it like a squirrel, do it like a gopher, do it like a chipmunk. This is how you stay warm with the principles of the heat shell. So let's go through the layers. We got a deep dish pizza over here. Layer number 1, the big gray soft fleece. Smells pretty good because I washed all my blankets right before I came out here. Oh, that's the first layer. Bam. Next layer, we got the princess sheets. Bam. Next layer, another princess sheet. Bam. And like I said, those are really, 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 really thin, but it doesn't matter because they add to the layers. It's like exponential multiplication. And now we got this third thick blanket under here. Bam. We got another thick gray blanket under here. Bam. We got another thick gray blanket under there. Bam. We got the nice thick warm fuzzy cat blanket. Bam. We got another thick gray weird rectangle blanket. Bam. We got the thick blue formerly heated blanket. Bam. But that's not all. We've also got, I could have sworn there was 2 gray blankets down here, but we've also got a gray regular fleece under that. Bam. So I pull it all back, pull back the whole shell, and it's a mountain of blankets. Complete cozy den. I'll be sleeping so freaking warm and comfortable in here tonight. It's just heaven, really. It doesn't get much better than this. Holy moly. It snowed a lot last night. I actually just woke up and had to take an emergency homeless dookie because nature called, but we got a lot of snow last night. It snowed so much that I woke up like 4 or 5 times throughout the night, and my tent was collapsed right on top of me. But all I had to do was reach up and kind of swat the snow off the sides, and it would just pop right back up to form. And I just kept rolling back over, going to sleep like that. A lot of snow came in on my legs, and the top blanket that I had on top of me is kind of like completely wet from condensation from the tent falling down and sitting on top of me. that cold sitting right on top of the blanket, and some of the snow on the bottom kind of seeped through the whole top layer of the blanket is wet, but all the other layers underneath are completely dry. I slept completely dry and warm last night, perfectly comfortable. Slept like a baby. Unfortunately, I had to sacrifice one of the princess blankets because I didn't bring any toilet paper with me, and well, yeah. So this is how much snow we got. So the tent looks like, and I'll do a footprint here. This is how much snow we got over the course of the night. Measure with a stick here. As you can see, it was a lot. It was a lot, dude. It's well over half a foot. Well over half a foot, probably 7+ inches. 7+ inches all throughout the night. And my tent was open partially. Taking snow, taking collapses, but we made it. We survived. I got great sleep. And yeah, that's how it's done. Take notes, kids.